Live and direct. It's Sway in the morning.
Right here on Shade 45.
Dave Navarro is here with us right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for having me, buddy.
Dave, how you been, man?
Really good. Good to see you again.
It's good to see you. Always good. It's usually have some MTV or music thing or whatever, but now we're home on radio. All right? Where it all began.
This is my favorite medium. This has got to be my favorite. I do a web show that's a live webcasted radio show that's caller driven. And I just love the fact that it's immediate, it's honest. There's no editing, there's no getting around it. It's live. And you
can't hide for the questions.
You can't hide, but man, you do this so well.
Thank you, brother.
You've been making headlines with the shit you're pulling out of people.
It's crazy, right? Yeah, it's just conversation, though, man. We get up here, and it's a place I want people to be able to let their hair down.
But in your defense, it takes a certain kind of guy to be able to pull that kind of information out of people. You know what I'm saying? You can't just go sit down with anybody and feel comfortable and honest. So props to you for doing a great show here, man.
That's Dave Navarro.
That's dope.
Hell yeah.
All right. So we're going to talk about Ink Master, but let me ask you this question, because I've been debating with friends.
Anything.
Red Hot Chili Peppers performed at halftime.
Yeah.
And it became this big to-do because it wasn't a live performance.
Right.
And I was thinking to myself, man, it's Red Hot Chili Peppers. Are we implying that they can't perform live? I mean, do we got to bitch and complain every time somebody? How do you feel about it?
I'll tell you the honest truth, because I was in that band for a couple of years.
Of course.
And, here's the God's honest truth. I'm not really on the greatest terms with those guys personally. However, that's an NFL broadcasting issue. It had nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl, in order to make their halftimes go quickly and with a flow and no technical problems, they kind of insist that bands do that. Like none of the Bruno Mars guys were live either.
None of them?
No.
I don't think
Bruno
so.
was live with the drums in the beginning.
He was live, and certainly there are live elements. Vocals are all live and so forth. But like for all that musicianship and all the technical aspects and all the things that could go wrong, and you think about pop music today, and you think about like DJ culture and all that stuff, most of the stuff that you see in those kind of performances are pre-recorded tracks anyway.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's not really their fault. And if you've seen that band live, you know goddamn well that they're amazing musicians.
They know what they're going to do. Why?
And I must believe that if I don't get along with them.
You don't get along with them.
No, and I'm coming to their defense.
And that's crazy, right?
You know why? Because I'm an honest motherfucker.
There it is, Dave Navarro.
Hell yeah.
It's the reason why y'all don't get along when you reflect on it in retrospect. Is it small enough to be fixed or too big?
But it's neither. I mean, to be honest with you, it's not any like bubbling, deep-seated resentment issue. It's just they do their thing, I do my thing. I don't think that it needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
I don't lay in bed at night looking at the ceiling with a tear in my eye, going, why won't they call me? I don't really care. I've moved on.
Right.
And I'm proud of them for doing what they've done with their career.
Yeah.
And but for that NFL thing, man, whatever.
Jane's Addiction. What's going on with Jane's Addiction?
Jane's Addiction is doing 3 shows in March in Las Vegas, 8, 9, 10 in Las Vegas, and we're doing our album Nothing Shocking, which is our first studio album. We're doing it from top to bottom. Just we're performing the actual album 3 nights in a row. So
Vegas isn't the graveyard for performances.
Oh, it very well may be.
Really?
I don't know. Have you seen?
Britney's out there killing it.
Is she really?
Yeah, killing it.
George Wallace, best 10 p.m. show.
You know what I mean? You gotta check out
That's what I hear. That's what I hear. Best 10 p.m. show. There's a show at 10:15. It's a little better.
Yeah,
but as far as the 10 slot, Wallace has it covered. Yeah,
he has it covered. All right. Vegas pays a lot of money though.
I think they do. I don't really know. I just love Vegas because it's 45 minutes from my home, L.A., and it never sleeps, and it's always got a great turnover because mostly it's a vacation town, so every day there's a new plane full of people coming in. So it's always new people.
Always.
That's why those shows keep selling out because, the residents of Vegas don't go see Britney every weekend, but every weekend a whole new couple of casinos full of people go and see Britney.
Now, you're not married, right?
Hell no.
Okay.
I'll never do that again. Are you married?
No, not married. I haven't done it yet. But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Are you able to tap into the temptations of Vegas? Like,
we're tapping.
I'm flying to Vegas tonight. That's why I'm asking you this.
Let me tell you, it's no coincidence that you said tap because I tap in quite often. If you know. Hello.
Dave Navarro, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you have children though?
No.
Oh, okay, so you tap in, tap out.
Tap in, tap out. I love kids, and my best friend has 2 kids, 6-year-old, 4-year-old. I'm kind of their social godfather.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not their godfather. Like if something happens to the parents, they're not coming to live with me.
Yeah.
But I'll socially speaking, I'll tell them what movies to like, what music to like,
Right.
what's funny, what's not funny,
How to be cool.
where to stand politically. But apart from that, they're on their own.
But no one's like tried to trap you because you're a big rock star. I would think a girl would try to say she was pregnant or get abortion money.
Nobody wants to trap me, hon. I appreciate that. Nobody wants to trap me.
Dave Navarro, we're going to open up the phone lines. Dave and I sitting there talking, man, and man, we were talking about the highlights of our careers. One of mine was sitting down in a blue room with President Obama. Wow. And interviewing him live for the world to see.
Right.
And Dave just showed me a picture of him, Dave Navarro, and Michael Jackson next to each other on stage.
That's crazy.
That was one of the highlights for me.
That's crazy.
Did you? How often did y'all rehearse for that performance?
We rehearsed one time, and then it was actually for the Democratic convention, and President Clinton front row.
Wow.
So to my right is Michael Jackson. Right in front of me is President Clinton. And man, talk about nerves. Wow. That was because these are 2 guys that I just wanted to meet anyway, regardless of being able to perform or entertain or anything. Yeah. And it couldn't have gone better, man. I got to tell you, Michael, I don't know that I've ever worked with anybody as sweet and professional and kind and just, no bullshit and helpful. And there was just really a sense that he was grateful that I showed up, believe it or not. You know what I mean?
Did he ask you any questions?
Not really. He was just like, he just walked up. He was very humble, very sweet, and was just like, hey, thank you so much for doing this. And I was like, man, I'll go out and wash your car. You kidding me? Thank you for you're welcome. And it was just, he came in and we rehearsed, and he gave everything he had during the rehearsal. He didn't like walk through the rehearsal. He was just on point from the downbeat. And man, I was so impressed with this guy because I've worked with hacks in the business that walk in with the ego and the arrogance, and they're just kind of full of shit. And this guy has proven himself over and over and over again, and couldn't have been a more charming, humble entertainer. So that for me was one of the highlights of my career as well. And then there's another guy in a totally different world, Lou Reed, who recently passed away. Being able to play with him too was one of those moments I would imagine. Yeah, not unlike yourself with President Obama.
Yeah. Hacks, man. I'm trying to think if I had bad experience. Who I had a bad experience with. What? I just had one, right? No, I thought the Kanye interview was a great experience.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, I thought that was a great experience.
I think most people wouldn't have known what to do with that and would have put that in the bad category. But you held your own, man. You were just like, no, I'm asking here. Yeah. And that was, that was telling for you as an interviewer, and it was telling for him. I think a lot of people gained a lot of insight on what's up with that guy. Yeah. And I don't think it was bad for either of you.
Yeah, neither do I.
Well, it was less bad for you, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Thank you very much. Dave Navarro, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and ask him.
Yeah, because I'm kind of curious. We were talking about you before you got in, and you just said you like to keep it real with everything. How do you deal with people who just Bible thumpers and just say you're never supposed to mark your body up? What's your position on this?
Here's my position on that. If you want to get into this religious right thing, because I will spend the rest of the hour talking about that. Okay. First of all, I can get really heated about it because first of all, it's my body. I don't give a fuck what y'all think. Number 2, I understand, and this isn't really even about Bible thumpers and you shouldn't mark your body and all this. It's really when it comes down to what's called witnessing. And what witnessing is, for you don't know, is that in a lot of these religious right sects and denominations, people have to go out and spread the word of God because it's in their teachings that you need to share this with the world. Okay, it's the manner in which they do that. Let me give you an example. When you go into a restaurant and a waiter says, "Sir, you should try the fish." Yeah. And you say, "Oh, I don't like fish. Is there anything else?" And he's like, "Oh, have the lamb." And you're like, "Okay, cool." He doesn't say, "If you don't try this fish, you're going to burn in hell." Yeah. you just move on. So like, why do these people have to come at me with anger and aggression? Why can't you just suggest it in a loving manner? You're still witnessing. You're still spreading the word of God, which I got no problem with the Bible or the word of God or what anybody believes. But as soon as you start attacking me and telling me what my destiny is going to be, I'm going to close up. You tell me, is there one person who attended a soldier's funeral?
Yeah.
Right? And then went outside and ran into the Westboro Baptist Church and said, you know what? They got a point. I'm going to join up. My guess is not one person has done that. Does that answer your question? You know what I'm saying?
Answer your question?
My point being is that to make it very plain, to each his own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, first of all, and here's the other thing. If these people are so against me and my lifestyle, or people like me and their lifestyles, shouldn't they be happy we're not going to heaven with them?
Word.
You know what I mean?
Whoa, you just got excited?
You know what I'm saying? Like, you should be stoked I'm going to burn in hell.
Nah, because they don't want you,
You know
to.
what I mean?
They don't want you to burn in hell.
No, but see, the thing is that their soul is saved by spreading the message.
Yeah.
Just don't come at us with it with hate and anger, because nobody wants to join up with hate and anger. You know what I'm
That's a good
saying?
point. Yeah, that's a good
Who
point.
wants to join up with that? Not me.
I'm not into hate and anger.
Neither am I.
You guys are looking at me like I'm crazy.
No.
Dave, I asked
sign
because
everything.
I
Because
appreciated your honesty. You said that coming in. We discussed it before you got here. We were just curious.
Yeah, and I also believe that whatever cosmic spirit there is in the universe is a little bit more concerned with the grand scheme of things and whether or not I have a tattoo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Got you. Yeah.
And nowhere is it suggested in anything that I'm not supposed to, live my life to my fullest. It's all about how I treat people, how I interact with people, what kind of spiritual path I'm living that makes me comfortable. And if I'm not taking anybody down, so be it, man.
Dave Navarro, ladies and gentlemen. So with that said, when I watch your show,
A little too much.
no, it's not enough, Dave. It's not enough.
Cool, Dave.
We were talking about why is it that tattoo artists tend to shy away from black-skinned people when given tattoos.
I don't know that that's really necessarily true anymore.
Okay. You say
and-
anymore, but
Well, I don't know if you're saying it as if it's a fact, so I'm assuming it's a fact. You're referring to something.
tend to get weakening. It's not a fact, but a lot of tattoo artists, because they tend to. It's harder with a darker color.
I mean, I would imagine. I'm not a tattoo artist.
Okay.
I just host the show, but we have lots of black tattoo artists, and we have lots of black people come in to get tattooed.
Yeah.
And it never seems to be a problem. So I can't speak intelligently about that.
Yeah.
I don't really know about that. But I can only speculate. But my experience on our program and with the artists that I know, that's never been the case.
Okay.
Believe me, a tattoo artist is more than happy to take your money, no matter what color you are. You know what I mean?
BB,
It costs the same. Believe me.
You're listening to Sway in the morning
on Shade 45.